Good evening, and welcome back to Dreamward Stories. Before we begin, make yourself comfortable. Let your body settle into the bed, the chair, or wherever you are resting tonight. Let your shoulders soften, your breathing slow, and allow the day to gently fall away from you, one quiet thought at a time. Here at Dreamward Stories, we tell calm, immersive bedtime stories for adults. Stories made to help you relax, drift, and feel far from the noise of ordinary life. And as you settle in, I would love to know where you are listening from tonight. You can leave a little comment with your city, country, or simply the place where this story has found you. If this story helps you rest, a like is always appreciated. And if you would like more quiet stories to fall asleep to, you are warmly welcome to subscribe. Now, let the room grow still. Let the world soften, and let tonight's story lead you gently dreamward. Tonight, the ocean is not as empty as it seems. Far beneath the quiet waves, where the last light of evening cannot reach, something warm begins to glow. Not a reflection, not a trick of moonlight. A city of glass, hidden deep below the surface, waiting in silence. You are a gentle deep-sea explorer, following the song of a whale no chart can explain. With your lantern in hand and the sea closing softly around you, you descend towards coral forests, glowing windows, and a doorway that should not be there. Some places are not lost because they are forgotten. Some are only waiting for someone kind enough to enter gently. And so, beneath the waves, our story begins. The first light you see beneath the waves is not from your diving lantern. It comes from below. You stand at the rail of the research boat, while evening gathers over the open sea, one hand resting on the brass frame of your lantern, the other on the worn notebook tucked into your belt. The boat rocks gently beneath you, answering the slow lift and fall of the tide. Above, the last gold of sunset fades behind low clouds. Below, the water darkens from green to blue to something deeper than either. Then, far beneath the surface, a warm glow opens in the sea. Not a flicker, not a reflection, a city. At first, you think your eyes have made it from the movement of light on water. You have seen many strange things at sea. Moonlight broken into silver roads, glowing plankton gathered like spilled stars, the pale bodies of jellyfish rising through black water like lanterns with no hands to carry them. The ocean is generous with illusions. But this glow does not break apart. It remains steady under the waves, arranged in lines and curves, as if streets are lit far below, as if windows are warm, as if towers of glass stand quietly on the ocean floor. Behind you, cabin door opens. Dr. Maravay, the marine scholar who has traveled with you for the past 3 weeks, steps onto the deck with a folded chart in her hands. Her gray hair is tied back against the wind. A knitted blue scarf rests around her shoulders, though the evening is not cold enough to require it. She wears it when she is thinking deeply. Tonight, the scarf is wrapped twice. You see it too, she says. You do not look away from the water. Yes, the boat is called the Larkwell, a small but sturdy research vessel built for quiet work in remote waters. Its hull is painted deep green. Its lamps burn low and amber. Its deck carries everything you need for peaceful exploration. Reef maps, sampling jars, coiled ropes, listening instruments, drying racks for seaweed specimens, and your carefully maintained diving suit. You are a deep-sea explorer, though not the kind from old adventure tales who searches for treasure to claim or monsters to name. Your work is gentler. You map reefs without breaking them. You record whale songs and return the sea to itself as undisturbed as possible. You polish your diving glass after every descent. You mend your suit seams before they can fail. You enter the water as a guest, and try to leave no mark but knowledge, gratitude, and bubbles rising softly behind you. 4 days, you and Mara have followed a whale song through this part of the sea. It began far north of the coral banks. One long note, then 3 lower ones, then a pause, wide enough for silence to become part of the music. Each night, you recorded it in your shell notebook. Each morning, Mara studied the patterns and grew quieter. Song did not belong to any whale she knew, or rather, it belonged to one whale, but it carried echoes, too old for one living body. This afternoon, the song led you here, to empty water on every chart, to a place where the sea should be only deep, dark, and open. Yet now, beneath the boat, a glass city glows. Mara comes to stand beside you. The breeze lifts the corner of her chart. The old fisherman spoke of lights below the tide, she says. Most called them storm dreams. What did you call them? She smiles faintly. Unverified observations. A low sound passes beneath the boat. It is not the groan of wood or rope. It is deeper, softer, and impossibly patient. Whale song. The deck lanterns tremble. The warm glow below brightens. You lift your diving lantern from its hook. It is an old thing, older than some of the instruments in Mara's cabin, and more trusted than most of them. Its frame is brass darkened by salt and handling. Its glass is thick and faintly green. Inside it burns a small flame protected by a clever chamber of air and crystal, designed to glow even beneath great pressure. You have carried it through coral arches, kelp forests, wreck shadows, and caves where blind fish moved like thoughts. Tonight, the lantern answers the city. Its flame turns pearl white. Mara draws a slow breath. The tide will turn before midnight, she says. If that is an entrance, it may not stay open. You look at the water. Far below, one line of light separates from the rest and curves upward, faint but clear. It is not a beam shining toward you. It is more like an invitation, a path traced through the blue. Your diving suit waits near the hatch, cleaned, oiled, and folded with care. Your shell notebook waits at your belt. The whale sings again. The hidden glass city glows warmly under the waves, not lonely, not ruined, not sleeping completely. You close your hand around the lantern handle. Then we go gently, you say. The diving suit has always felt like a small room you can wear. You step into it slowly in the lantern-lit cabin while Mara checks the pressure seams with practiced hands. The suit is made of layered waterproof cloth, flexible bronze joints, and a rounded glass helmet polished clear as morning. It is heavier on deck than it ever feels beneath the water. On land, it belongs to weight. In the sea, it remembers grace. Mara kneels to fasten the left boot seal. You have enough air for 3 hours if you keep your breathing easy, she says. 4 if the current is kind and you do not get distracted by every interesting shell. That has happened only twice. Today, this week. She gives you a look, but there is warmth in it. On the small table beside the hatch lie the objects you will carry: the diving lantern, your shell notebook, a coral map rolled in oilcloth, and a narrow cord for tying the lantern to your belt, if your hands are needed. Mara adds one more thing. A small glass bell no larger than a teacup. Its surface is translucent, with a cloudy shimmer inside. It has no clapper. I found this in the whale song records, she says. You lift it carefully, in records, in a story copied from a monastery archive near the southern coast. A monk wrote that the sea sometimes rings without metal, and that glass bells were once used to wake sleeping harbors after storms. Mara pauses. It sounded poetic, until tonight. You place the glass bell into the padded pouch at your side. The boat creaks softly. Outside, the sea gives a long, low note. The wail again. Mara stands and places the helmet over your head. The world changes at once. Sounds become rounder. The cabin lamps form halos. Your own breathing settles close around you, steady and private. Mara's face appears through the glass, calm and pale in the lamplight. She taps the helmet twice. You tap back once. Ready. The hatch opens. Cool sea air enters the cabin. You climb down the short ladder to the stern platform. The water waits below, dark but not empty. Silver ripples move around the boat. Beneath them, far down, the hidden city glows with the patient warmth of windows, kept lit for someone expected. Mara remains at the rail with the speaking tube in her hand. I will follow from above as long as the instruments allow. Her voice says through the helmet line. If the tide shifts hard, you return, you nod. And if the city offers you a door, she adds, softer now, let the lantern greet it before you do. You step from the platform. The sea receives you without splash enough to disturb the night. For one moment there is only water, bubbles, and the fading shape of the boat above. Then your weight settles into the dive line, and you begin to descend. The surface pulls away. The world becomes blue. At first, the only light is your lantern. It shines in the small circle around you, catching flecks of plankton, tiny drifting shells, and long threads of seaweed moving like green ribbons. The Larkwell's hull becomes a dark shape above, then smaller, then softer, until it is no more than a shadow under the moonlit skin of the sea. You descend through quiet layers. Near the upper reef, small fish turn in shining groups and scatter around your lantern glow. A school of silver needlefish passes by like a handful of thrown pins. Then the reef rises below you, and the coral forest begins. It is more beautiful than any chart can suggest. Tall coral branches reach upward in pink, cream, and deep red. Some are wide as trees, some are delicate as lace. Soft animals open and close in the current. Blue starfish cling to stone ledges. Glassy shrimp move through coral hollows, their bodies catching light for a moment, then disappearing again. Your boots touch the sandy floor. The city glows beyond the coral forest. A friendly sea turtle drifts from behind a fan of violet coral and stops in front of you, as if it has been waiting for your arrival. Its shell is broad and marked with pale rings. Its dark eyes study your helmet, your lantern, your slow movements. You have met turtles on many dives. That this one carries something unusual beneath one flipper, a small loop of kelp tied around a pearl. The turtle turns and begins swimming toward the glow. You follow. The coral map at your side warms faintly through its oilcloth, though paper should not hold warmth under water. You touch it and feel the shape of lines shifting within. A little lanternfish appears from the dark. It is no longer than your hand, with a round body and a glowing bulb above its head. The bulb shines soft gold, the same color as the city windows. It circles your diving lantern once, then darts ahead, back to the turtle, then ahead again. Mara's voice comes faintly through the line. Your lantern light has changed on the instruments. Are you near the city? You look past the coral trees. A glass tunnel rises from the seabed ahead, half covered in coral and pearl growth. It curves toward a wide door set into a transparent wall. Beyond the wall, a street glows warmly, full of still water and golden light. You lift your lantern. The door in the glass city opens. The door opens without sound. A seam appears in the glass wall, thin as a thread of light. Then the whole doorway folds inward, not swinging on hinges, but parting like water around a slow-moving hand. The glow from within spills over the sand, over the coral, over your boots, and across the sea turtle's shell. The lanternfish darts through first. The turtle follows with calm confidence. You stand outside the city for one long breath. There are places in the ocean where entering too quickly feels unkind. Old wrecks, sleeping reefs, caves lined with pale creatures that have never known sunlight. You have learned to pause before crossing thresholds, not out of fear, out of courtesy. The city waits. Your diving lantern burns pearl white. You step through. At once, pressure changes, not sharply, not dangerously. The water inside the glass tunnel feels warmer, gentler, held somehow in a stillness that does not belong to the open sea. Tiny bubbles cling to the inner wall. Long veins of light run through the glass beneath your feet, guiding the way forward. The door seals behind you with a soft shimmer. Marat's voice crackles through the helmet line and then fades. For a moment, you hear only your breathing. Then the whale sings. The note passes through the glass tunnel like a hand drawn along the rim of a bowl. The city answers. Lights wake one by one along the passage ahead. You begin to walk. The glass tunnel curves downward through coral and stone. Outside, the sea remains dark blue and full of drifting life. Fish pass by, pausing at the glass to look in. Fronds of kelp brush the outside wall. Beyond them, the city rises in layers. Towers made of transparent arches, rounded domes, bridges like ribbons, narrow streets lined with lamps that glow from within the stone itself. Nothing is broken. Nothing is hurried. The city looks abandoned, yes, but not ruined. Its plazas are clear. Its doorways are whole. Its lamps are tended by some unseen rhythm. Coral has grown along balconies and window frames, but gently, as ivy grows on old cottages above land. Small fish move through open courtyards, as if they know the routes. The lantern fish waits ahead near a junction. You follow it left. The tunnel opens into a small chamber where the walls are covered with carved symbols, spirals, waves, stars, hands, shells, whales, doorways. The symbols are arranged in careful lines, but you cannot read them. The coral map at your side grows warmer. You unroll it slowly. The paper should fall apart under water, even protected in oilcloth, but instead it stiffens and brightens. Lines of coral, reef, and current rearrange themselves. New shapes appear in pale ink. The glass tunnel, a plaza, a library, a bell tower, a round chamber at the center of the city. Mara would call it impossible, and then ask for a closer look. You call it a map behaving like the sea. The lantern fish circles the round chamber at the center, then taps it with its glowing bulb. Your gentle excitement sharpens into purpose. The heart room. You remember Mara's warning. The tide will turn before midnight. If the entrance closes, you may need to wait for another tide to leave. The thought does not frighten you, but it gives the hours shape. There is something here you are meant to find before the sea changes its mind. The turtle swims closer and releases the kelp loop from beneath its flipper. The pearl tied to it rises through the water and floats before your lantern. It is not perfectly round. It is teardrop-shaped, warm ivory, with a faint golden center. When the lantern light touches it, a small doorway symbol appears inside the pearl. A key. You take it carefully. The pearl key settles into your palm as if it has been held by many patient hands before yours. The chamber's far wall brightens, revealing a second door. This one is smaller, set into a passage that slopes toward the deeper part of the city. Above it is a carving of a whale surrounded by books. You move closer. The pearl key glows. The door opens. Beyond it lies a long street beneath a vaulted glass ceiling. Warm lamps line both sides. Through the glass above, the ocean presses close, blue and endless. Fish drift over the city like birds over rooftops. At the far end of the street stands a building shaped like an open shell. Its windows are lit. The underwater library. The whale song moves through the city again, and the lanternfish swims ahead into the golden quiet. The underwater library is filled with water, light, and silence that feels carefully kept. You enter through a shell-shaped doorway framed by coral growth. Inside, shelves curve from floor to ceiling in wide spirals, made not of wood but of pale glass and smooth white stone. Some hold tablets carved with wave marks. Some hold rolled kelp sheets, sealed in crystal tubes. Others hold shells arranged by size and color, each resting in its own shallow cradle. Lamps float near the ceiling like captured moons. Their glow moves slowly through the water, laying gold across the shelves, the floor, your helmet glass, the turtle's shell, and the tiny lanternfish that darts in delighted loops around the room. You do not touch anything at first. A library, even beneath the sea, asks for careful hands. At the center of the room stands a round reading table. Its surface is glass, and beneath it tiny lights move like plankton in a current. On the table rests an open book made of shelf and pages. The pages do not drift or tear. They lie still in the water, each marked with fine lines of dark blue script. The coral map warms again. You set it beside the open book. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the ink on the map rises from the page in small threads and sinks into the book. The book answers by releasing a line of glowing symbols that hover in the water before you. You cannot read them. The lanternfish swims through the symbols once. They rearrange themselves into pictures. A city above the sea, long ago. White towers under sunrise. Bridges over bright harbors. People walking in open squares. Children carrying baskets of shells. Bells hanging from high glass arches. Gardens grown in bowls of seawater. Whales moving beyond the harbor mouth, their backs shining in daylight. Then the pictures shift. Storms, not violent in the way of old tales, but vast and slow, changing the coastline season after season. A city as people standing on high terraces, watching the sea rise. Not panic, not despair. A long council beneath lamps. Hands placed on glass walls. Bells lowered carefully from towers. Books sealed. Doorways marked. The picture fades before you understand. Another page turns by itself. This time you see the city descending, not sinking by accident, choosing. Glass towers surrounded by bubbles. Lamps lit as the sea closes over rooftops. Whales circling below, singing. People standing in the plazas, commanteerful, releasing memory lanterns into the water. The city settles into the deep, as if it has always belonged there. A low sound fills the library. A whale outside. Closer now. You turn toward the window. Beyond the glass, a great shape passes slowly in the blue. The whale is immense, dark-backed and pale-bellied, with scars like old moonlit rivers along its side. It moves without hurry, one eye turning toward the library as it passes. The lamps brighten. The open book shows one final picture, the heart room at the center of the city, with a glass bell hanging above a pool of light. Your small glass bell trembles in its pouch. The city had bells too. Perhaps all places that wish to be remembered learn to ring in some way. A turtle nudges the reading table gently. A small drawer opens beneath it. Inside lies a shell notebook. It is not yours, though it looks like it could be. Its cover is made from layered mother of pearl, and its spine is bound with fine green cord. On the first page, in script that slowly reshapes itself, as you watch, words appear in a language you can understand. To the gentle visitor who carries light, not every lost place is lonely. Some places leave the surface because the deep has need of them. You read the lines twice, Emotional meaning settles through the water around you. The city was not merely abandoned. It was not only hidden. It had chosen to become something else, a resting place. But for what? The lanternfish darts to the far side of the library, where another door has begun to glow. Above it is a carving of a plaza surrounded by pearls. The coral map redraws itself again. The path now leads from the library to the pearl-lit plaza, then inward through 3 curved streets to the heart room. At the edge of the map, a tide mark appears, slowly filling with dark blue. Time is passing. You close the shell notebook and tuck it carefully beside your own. The whale sings outside the glass. The library lamps dim slightly, as if satisfied that one more memory has been read. Follow the lanternfish through the glowing door. The pearl-lit plaza waits at the meeting place of 7 streets. You arrive through a narrow passage lined with windows. Outside the windows, coral forests grow against the city walls. Inside, warm lamps glow from the pavement itself, guiding your steps toward a wide open square. The plaza is round and beautiful in a way that does not ask to be admired loudly. Its floor is made of pale stone inlaid with mother of pearl. The stones form wave patterns that seem to move when your lantern light passes over them. Around the edges stand glass columns filled with tiny bubbles rising in slow streams. Above, a high dome reveals the dark blue sea, where fish drift like birds across the ceiling. At the center of the plaza is a fountain, not water flowing into air, because all the city is water now. Instead, the fountain is made of light. It rises in a silent column from a bowl of crystal, forming shapes that change gently: a shell, a whale, a doorway, a lamp, a hand, a city, a wave. The turtle swims to the edge of the fountain and rests there. The lanternfish circles the light, turning gold, then blue, then gold again. You step closer. The shell notebook at your side opens by itself. A page fills with soft blue writing. Here the people left but could not be carried upward. Names of those gone to sea. Songs heard only once. The color of a room at evening. The sound of a child laughing under rain. Warmth of bread before a long voyage. The promise made at a harbor gate. The plaza light trembles. All around you, other lights begin to appear. Not lamps, memories. They rise from the pearl inlays in small blowing bubbles, each holding a picture. Woman braiding her hair beside a window. A fisherman tying knots with patient fingers. A child placing a shell to their ear. A family sharing soup while rain runs down glass. A whale surfacing beneath stars. A city bell ringing in morning. The bubbles do not press close. They drift with the softness of things that wish only to be remembered, not reclaimed. The midpoint truth begins to open. The city sank willingly to become a resting place for ocean memories. Not a tomb, not a ruin, not a place of exile. Library for things too tender to be kept on land. The whale song outside deepens, and you realize the song you followed here was not a warning or a call for rescue. It was a path, a thread of sound sent upward through the waves to someone who would enter gently. You heard diving lantern warms in your hand. The flame inside becomes softer, more golden. For a moment, you see your own reflection in the glass of a plaza column. Bounded helmet, dark suit, lantern raised, notebook at your side. Behind you, the hidden city glows with all the quiet patience of a place that has learned how to keep without clinging. Mara's voice flickers faintly through the helmet line, broken by distance. Tied instruments changing. Are you safe? You lift one hand to the helmet. I am safe, you say, though you are not sure whether she can hear. I am in the plaza. The line crackles and fades. The tide mark on the coral map darkens another small measure. The entrance will not wait forever. At the far side of the plaza, a tall archway brightens. It is covered in carvings of bells, whales, and open hands. Beneath the arch is a narrow bridge leading toward the center of the city. But before you cross, the turtle lifts its head. It turns toward a smaller side path where a low structure rests partly under coral. A garden, perhaps, or a place where memory has grown wild. A lanternfish hesitates between the arch and the side path and swims to the turtle, as if agreeing that there is still something to receive. You follow them. The path leads to a small courtyard open to the sea above. Coral grows there in careful beds, not wild but tended by currents, fish, and time. The center stands a stone table holding a glass bowl. Inside the bowl rests a coral map unlike yours, made not of paper but of living red and white branches. When your lantern nears it, the branches shift, a new route appears, shorter than the one on your paper map, a hidden way to the heart room. Beside the bowl lies a tiny pearl keyhole. You place the pearl key inside. The courtyard wall opens into a passage filled with amber light. The turtle blinks slowly and turns back toward the plaza, its work complete. The lanternfish enters the passage. You thank the turtle with a small bow, because some guides do not need words to know they have been understood. Then you walk toward the heart of the glass city. The hidden passage is warmer than the streets outside. Its walls are glass, but not clear. They hold a soft ember glow, like sunset trapped beneath water. Small shells are set into the floor at regular intervals, each one lighting as your boots pass. The lanternfish swims close to your shoulder now, less playful than before, as though the passage deserves quiet. Your breathing sounds steady inside the helmet. The glass bell in your pouch trembles once. You place a hand over it. Ahead, the passage slopes downward, then curves inward. Through occasional clear windows, you glimpse other parts of the city. A stairway spiraling around a tower, a courtyard filled with sea flowers, a row of empty balconies where fish sleep beneath awnings of coral. In each place, lights glow low and warm. Nothing feels abandoned in the way empty places sometimes do. It feels tended by memory, by whale song, by the careful movement of tides. The shell notebook opens again. You slow your steps and look down. More words appear. A city may hold stones. A home may hold voices. The sea holds what has no walls. So we gave our city to the sea, and asked it to hold gently. The passage widens into a hall of bells. They hang from the ceiling in rows, glass bells of many sizes, some no larger than your thumb, others large enough to cover a table. None have clappers. Their shapes are simple, elegant, and faintly glowing. Each bell contains something suspended inside its glass. A bubble, a shell fragment, a strand of seaweed, a freck of pearl, a tiny point of light. You walk between them. They do not ring. When your lantern passes near, few glow with brief pictures. A harbor before dawn, a hand waving from a ship, a room lit by one candle, a whale calf swimming beside its mother, a storm passing without taking the roof, a door left open. Not all memories are grand. Most are small. Perhaps that is why they need places like this. Great histories are carved in stone, sung by crowds, written in large books. Small memories survive only when someone keeps a lamp near them. Near the end of the hall, one bell glows brighter than the rest. Inside it is a bubble of air. You stop. The bubble holds a sound. You cannot hear it at first, only feel it through the water. Then it opens gently through your helmet glass. Mara's voice. Not from now. Younger. A memory, perhaps, or an echo left by someone who came near this place before she knew she had. I think the sea remembers more kindly than people do, the voice says. The bell dims. You wonder whether Mara has been searching for this city longer than she admitted, or whether the city has been searching for those who would one day understand it. The lanternfish waits at a final door. This door is made of dark glass with a circle at its center. No handle, no visible seam. The coral map shows this place as the last threshold before the heart room. You lift the pearl key. It does not glow. You lift the lantern. The door remains closed. Then the glass bell in your pouch trembles again. You take it out. The small bell looks cloudier now, as if it has gathered mist from every room you have passed through. You hold it before the door. It has no clapper, no way to ring in the ordinary manner. The whale sings somewhere beyond the city wall. The note travels through the hall of bells, one by one, the answer without sound, glowing instead, blue, gold, green, pearl white. The light moves from bell to bell until it reaches the little glass bell in your hand. Your bell rings, not in the water, inside you. A clear, gentle note passes through the suit, the helmet, the glass door, the floor, and the hidden city. The dark door opens. Beyond it lies a round chamber filled with warm, low light. The heart room. The tide mark on your map is nearly half dark now. There is time, but not endless time. You step inside. A heart room is not grand in the way you expected. It is smaller than the plaza, smaller than the library, smaller even than the Hall of Bells. It is a circular chamber at the center of the city, with walls of clear glass and a ceiling open to the deep sea above. Outside the glass, darkness gathers in blue layers, but inside, everything is warm with pearl and amber light. At the room's center stands a pool. It is strange to see a pool inside a place already filled with water, yet this one is different. Its surface holds shape like a round mirror suspended in the sea. Light moves beneath it slowly. Around its edge are carvings of whales, cities, coral, boats, hands, doors, and sleeping faces. Above the pool hangs a great glass bell. It is clear as ice and wide as a cottage table. No clapper hangs within it. Instead, the bell holds a single pearl of light floating at its center. The lanternfish lowers itself near the floor. The whale outside sings again. The note reaches the chamber and settles into the pool. Images rise. You see the glass city as it once was above the waves, full of sun and gulls. You see people preparing it for descent, not with panic, but with careful grief and careful hope. You see them carrying books, bells, tools, lamps, toys, maps, and bowls of garden soil into the lower halls. You see whales gathering offshore, answering the city bells with song. You see the moment the city sank. Its towers pass beneath the surface. Its lamps remain lit. Its people leave in boats, many weeping, many singing, all turning back to watch. The city settles into the deep, and the ocean closes above it like a blanket drawn over a child at rest. Then you see later years, adverse who came and left small offerings, whales bringing songs of distant waters, turtles carrying pearls, fish sleeping in warm windows, coral growing gently over edges without breaking them, memories arriving from wrecked ships, old harbors, drowned bells, lost letters, forgotten songs, and travelers who spoke into shells before crossing dangerous seas. The city received them all, not to keep sorrow alive, to let it rest. The shell notebook opens, one final time. The writing is slow now, each word appearing like a bubble rising. When the tide turns, the city sleeps. Before it sleeps, the heart bell must ring, not to wake the lost, not to summon the living, only to tell the sea, all that came here is held gently All that rests here may rest. You look up at the great glass bell. Your small bell answers with a faint glow in your hand. The diving lantern's flame grows very still. You understand the final task. You are not here to claim the city, solve it, or announce its discovery to the world in a way that would fill it with noise. You are here because the city opened to someone who knew how to enter without ticking, how to look without disturbing, how to carry light without making it harsh. You step to the edge of the pool. The pearl key rises from your pouch on its own and floats above the water. The coral map unrolls and releases its living lines into the pool. Your shell notebook opens beside the old city notebook, the two books hovering page to page. The lanternfish circles the pool once, and it disappears into the light beneath the surface. For a breath, the chamber is empty of movement. Then the whale appears beyond the glass. Its great eye fills one window, dark, calm, and ancient with listening. You lift the small glass bell. The great bell above the pool glows. Your bell rings once. This time, the sound moves outward. The great heart bell answers. Its note is soft, but immense. It passes through the chamber, through the city streets, through the library shelves, through the pearl-lit plaza, through the glass tunnel, through the coral forest, through the whale's wide body, through the water above, and perhaps all the way to the Larkwell rocking gently on the surface. The city lights brighten together, then slowly, gently, they begin to dim, not extinguishing, resting, one street at a time, one window at a time, one lamp, one plaza, one tower, one shelf, one bell. A heart room remains warm a little longer. Whale closes its eye. The tide has begun to turn. You leave the heart room by a path that was not there before. A doorway opens behind the pool, revealing a narrow passage of pale blue glass. A lanternfish waits inside, its little glow softer now, as if it too has grown sleepy. The pearl key returns to your pouch. The small glass bell is quiet in your hand, clear again, no longer cloudy with gathered memory. Behind you, the great heart bell hangs still above the pool. The city continues dimming into peaceful sleep. You follow the passage upward. The hidden glass city is changing around you, but nothing about the change feels hurried or unsafe. Lamps lowered to embers. Pearl inlays lose their shine. Library shelves close behind glass panels. Plaza fountains of light fold into their bowls. A hall of bells glows one last time as you pass a high window overlooking it, then settles into blue shadow. Mara's voice returns through the helmet line, faint but clearer with every step. "Can you hear me? City lights are changing. The tide is turned. I hear you, you say. I am returning." A crackle of relief moves through the line, though Mara does not say much at first. Then, softly, "Did you find the heart room?" "Yes." "And?" You look back through the glass passage at the sleeping city below. "It was not lonely," you say. There's a long pause. "No," Mara replies. "I did not think it would be." That passage opens into the original glass tunnel near the city entrance. Outside the walls, the coral forest sways beneath the turning tide. Fish have begun to settle into night places. The friendly sea turtle waits by the door. It blinks once. The lanternfish swims to the turtle and rests briefly against its shell. The great whale sings again, farther off now. The city door opens before your lantern touches it. This time the sea beyond is darker. The tide pulls softly along the sand. Not strong enough to alarm, but strong enough to remind you that the ocean keeps its own hours. Step through the doorway and turn back. The glass city rests beneath the waves. A few lights still glow inside. The heart room, perhaps, or the library. or one lantern left by a window for the sake of old habit. Then those lights to become soft and low, blending with the gentle glow of deep-sea life. The door closes. No seam remains, only coral, glass, and darkness touched with blue. The turtle rises beside you, guiding you back through the coral forest. A lanternfish swims ahead, but slowly, and its glow now matches your lantern's pearl-white flame. Together they lead you along the reef path you followed earlier. You do not hurry. The city has slept. The entrance has closed. The sea is wide and dark, but it does not feel empty. Around you, the coral forest breathes in currents. Anemones fold their soft arms. Tiny shrimp vanish into lace-like branches. A school of silverfish passes overhead, turning all at once like a thought shared by many minds. Above, faint and distant, the hull shadow of the Larkwell waits. Your shell notebook presses gently against your side. When you touch it, you feel the old city notebook resting beside it. You had not meant to take anything, but the notebook came because it chose to, because some memories are not removed by being carried. Some are extended. The whale passes below you once more. Its huge shape emerges from darkness, moving with a slowness that makes the whole sea seem calm. It does not come close enough to startle. It simply travels beneath, singing one final note that rises through your boots, your suit, your lantern, your bones. The note says nothing in words. Still, you understand enough. Held gently. Rest well. Return when the tide allows. You begin to ascend. The coral forest falls away beneath you. The city glow fades into the deep until it is only a warm thought under miles of water. The turtle remains below, circling once before vanishing into coral shadow. The lanternfish follows a little longer, then turns back too, its tiny golden bulb becoming one more star in the underwater dark. The dive line guides you upward. The sea grows lighter. The boat's lamps become clear above. Mara is waiting. The surface opens around you with a soft rush of bubbles and night air. Hands help you onto the stern platform. Mara's hands, steady and quick. The boat's deck feels strangely solid beneath your boots after the floating hush of the city. For a few moments, you stand in the heavy suit while water streams from your sleeves, your shoulders, your helmet rim, returning to the sea in silver lines. Mara removes the helmet. The night comes in cool and full of stars. You breathe the open air slowly. The Larkwell rocks beneath you, warm lamps glowing along the deck. The sea stretches dark in every direction. Nothing shows on its surface now, except moonlight, ripples, and the faint path of the tide. No city, no glass towers, no golden windows under the waves. Mara looks past you toward the water. The lights went out, she says. Not out. She turns to you. Asleep. The word settles between you. She nods once, and her eyes shine. Though whether from sea wind or feeling, the night does not ask you to name it. Inside the cabin, the stove is lit. The warmth there feels almost surprising after the deep. You sit on the wooden bench while Mara helps unfasten the suit. Each clasp opens with a soft click. Each loosened strap gives back a little of the ocean's weight. Your gloves come off last. Your fingers are wrinkled from the long dive, but steady. On the table, you place the objects one by one. The diving lantern, its flame now low and golden again. The pearl key, quiet and pale. The coral map, no longer moving, but marked with one faint circle where the heart room lies hidden. The small glass bell, clear and silent. Your shell notebook, and beside it, the city's shell notebook. Mara does not touch the city notebook. She sits across from you, hands folded, looking at it as one looks at a sleeping animal or an old letter not yet opened. May I? She asks. You nod. She opens the cover gently. The first page is blank for a moment. Then words appear in soft blue ink. To those above, we are not lost. We are keeping what the sea has been asked to hold. Let quiet places remain quiet, unless they open their doors. Mara reads the lines twice. Then she closes the notebook. That may be the finest research instruction ever written, she says. You smile. The boat creaks softly in agreement. Outside, whale song returns, distant now, moving beneath the hull like a slow road of sound. Mara reaches for the recording instrument by habit, then pauses. Not tonight, she says. The instrument remains still. Some songs are not less real because they are not captured. You make your notes while the memory is fresh, but gently, without turning the city into a list of measurements. You write of the coral forest, the turtle with the pearl key, the lanternfish, the glass tunnel, the library, the plaza, the hall of bells, the heart room, and the way the city dimmed into sleep after the bell rang. You do not write the exact path, not yet, perhaps not ever in a way that careless hands could follow. Mara makes tea from dried mint and lemon peel. She places a cup beside your notebook. Steam rises, smelling of warmth and surface things. Leaves, fire, a kitchen somewhere far from the deep. You understand what this means, she says. You look at the closed city notebook. The maps were wrong. Yes, her smile is small. But more than that, it means puppies can leave the world people know and still be serving it. You think of the city lights dimming one by one. Not every lost place is lonely, you say. Mara rests her hands around her cup. No, she says. Some are only resting where noise cannot reach. Larkwell drifts quietly under the stars. Below, hidden by darkness, the glass city sleeps. Later, when the notes are finished and the instruments are covered, you step back onto the deck. The night is calm. The tide has turned fully now, drawing long, slow lines across the moonlit water. The research boat rocks at a rhythm so gentle it feels less like motion than breathing. Clouds have thinned overhead, leaving the stars bright and clear. The moon rests low above the sea, laying a silver path over the waves. Amra stands near the bow, listening. You join her without speaking. For a while, there is only water against the hull, rope creaking softly, and the occasional hush of wind over the deck. Then the whale sings again, far below, far away, still near enough to be known. The song is slower now than before. It no longer seems to call or guide. It moves like a lullaby across the deep, passing under the boat, under the coral forest, over the hidden glass towers, through sleeping plazas and silent libraries, through the hot room where the great bell rests above its pool of light. The city is sleeping. The sea is keeping watch. You look down at your diving lantern, now hanging again from its hook beside the hatch. Its flame is small and ordinary, but there is a pearl tint in the glass that was not there before. Perhaps it will fade by morning. Perhaps not. Some light remains after a place has trusted you. Mara reaches into her coat and takes out a small folded cloth. Inside is a piece of coral, smooth, white, and shaped almost like a tiny doorway. I found this caught in the recording line when you surfaced, she says. It must have risen with the bubbles. You look at it carefully. There is no glow, no writing, no obvious magic, only a little cory doorway, small enough to rest on a palm. A reminder, you ask? Perhaps. Or a polite request to remember without returning too quickly. You both smile at that. The deck lamps burn lower as night deepens. Mara returns to the cabin first, carrying the coral piece and the city notebook with both hands. You remain at the rail a little longer, watching the water. You think of the city choosing the sea. You think of memory not as something trapped behind glass, but something held gently in a place where it can finally stop drifting. You think of the bells with no clappers, the fountain made of light, the turtle's patient eyes, the lanternfish turning back at the edge of the reef. The ocean has many forms of shelter: a coral branch for a tiny fish, a shell for a soft creature, a whale song for a path through darkness, a hidden city for memories too tender for weather, and above it all, a small boat with a warm cabin waits for you. At last, you go inside. The cabin below deck is narrow and familiar. A bunk rests against one wall, covered with a wool blanket. A shelf holds your dry clothes, spare gloves, a tin cup, and a few books that have absorbed the smell of salt. The round window above the bunk shows a piece of moonlit sea rising and falling. Mara has left a second cup of tea on the little table. Beside it sits your shell notebook. You open it once more. The last page, which had been blank when you left it, now holds a single line in pale blue script. All that rests Shetley is not gone. You sit with the notebook open until the words settle fully into the room. Then you close it. The boat rocks softly. The whale song moves beneath the waves, slower and farther away now, like a dream traveling through water. The lanterns on deck burn low. The diving suit hangs drying near the hatch, seams checked, glass polished, boots placed neatly beneath it. The pearl key rests beside the glass bell in a padded box. The coral map lies flat under a paper weight, still and quiet. Your work is done for the night. You lie down in the warm cabin. The blanket settles over you. The wood around you holds the day's stored warmth. The round window glows faintly with moonlight. Beneath the boat, beneath the tide, beneath the reefs, and the patient whale song, the glass city sleeps with its memories held safe. Not lonely, not forgotten, only quiet. The sea rocks the Larkwell as gently as a cradle. The whale sings once more, so low it is almost part of the waves. And while that sound moves through the dark water below, let your eyes close, resting in the small warm cabin above. Hidden city that has finally dimmed its lights and gone peacefully to sleep.